Hi guys, Vanessa here from the Early Bird Collective. Thank you for clicking on my video today, and I really hope you enjoy this tutorial. We're going to learn all about different things to do with acrylic pouring, so I hope you enjoy. Stay to the end, leave me a like, leave me a comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be testing out different pouring mediums for a Dutch pour. So I'm going to be doing 6 different techniques: Floetrol, Floetrol and Liquitex Flow Aid, PVA glue and water, Floetrol and silicone boom gel stain, and then a bloom recipe. I'm going to be using these tiles here today instead of canvas. The good thing about this is that it's easy to wipe the paint off if I don't like it, and it also means I can use them over and over and over again when I'm doing my tests. As for the colours I'm using today, I'm going to be using the Liquitex Basics in Titanium White as my white for my top colour. All my other colours I'm using Global Colours. And as a base coat, I'm just going to be using this low-sheen white house paint, which you can get at any hardware store. If you're in Australia, you can get it from Bunnings. I'm using standard PVA glue. And of course, I'm going to be using the Australian Floetrol today. I'm going to put all the details in the notes as to what I've used. Let's get started. So I've already mixed up all my paints. So today I'm going to be using fluoro pink, purple, and also a turquoise colour. So this first one we're going to do is just with Floetrol. So I've mixed my white with some Floetrol. Let's give this a go. I'm going to start with a layer of the house paint, just to make a nice pillow there for the Dutch pour. I'm going to start this one with some purple. So with these colours I've only mixed them with the Floetrol. I haven't mixed them with anything else. Some of the teal. Ooh. Let's go some of the pink. Now for our top colour we're just going to put the white. Now all I've done here is I've just mixed in some Floetrol with that. And that's it. Okay, now with the secret to the Dutch pour is I'm going to blow into the white, and I want it to spread out over the other colours. It's already looking really good. This is looking nice. Ooh, I'm already really pleased with this. So you can see how we've got this really nice lacing here through the white. I don't have much purple here though, because it was quite low. Let's try and stretch this out a bit. So you can see as I'm stretching this, it's moving really slowly, and that's because of using the house paint as a base. So if you use a normal acrylic paint, like an artist acrylic, it will move quite easily. But here we've got that low sheen house paint just to give it a different texture. Oh, this is looking really good. I'm just going to blow out some of the edges here. See if we can get some of that purple. Oh, this is looking really good. Let's try and stretch it more. So with this technique you do need quite a lot of patience, especially because this paint will move really slowly. So a lot of people when they do this technique, they might spin it on a Lazy Susan just because it then spins all the paint out a lot faster. Might just add some purple on the edges. Just going to add a little bit of white here. Sorry, my head's getting in the way of the video. So I'm really pleased with this so far. So this is literally just the 3 different paints plus the Floetrol. So that's the effect just with the paints and the Floetrol. So let's put that aside and move on to number 2. So for pour number 2, we're going to use the paint mix with the Floetrol again, but this time for the white paint mix, I mixed in some of this Liquitex Flow Aid. So you can get this at most art and craft shops. Basically, I've just added a few drops to my white. Just wanted to make it, you know, drip just like that. So not too thick, not too thin. I may actually add a few more drops just to want it a little bit more runny. There we go, just a drip like that. So again, we've got the house paint down here. I'm going to put my colours down. I'm going to do the different colours in the different order every time I do this, just because I want to see things a bit differently. Purple. Okay, so now we're going to put the white on here, which has the Liquitex Flow Aid in it. Let's see how this one works. Oh, already you can see the cells are quite different to the last one. Stretch these out a bit. Right. Let's try and stretch this. So it's interesting, this white hasn't moved as far as the last one, which was just the Floetrol. And so again, I've still got the Floetrol mixed in with my other paints. So you can see, instead of the nice webbing like we got before, it's a lot more concentrated here. So it's still a nice effect, but I actually still prefer the first one. So I'll just blow out the edges and then we'll move on to the next one. So this next one we're doing the PVA wood glue and water. So as with last time, I've got my pillow of paint, and so I'm just going to layer my colours. So these colours are a bit runny because what I've done is I've mixed the PVA glue 1:1. So 1 part PVA glue, 1 part water. So it's quite liquid. I'll put the white. Let's see what happens. Oh, this is looking amazing. Oh, we'll just leave that for a minute because I really want this white to kind of go back in the middle. This is already looking incredible. Really pleased with this one. So So we'll stretch it out a bit. So even though that paint was a little bit watery, it's still leaving this amazing effect. I think you probably could have put a little less water in this. Just have a little bit more of the glue. But this is still looking incredible. Just touch up the corners. So what will happen is, because this house paint is quite thick, you won't be able to see it on the video, but a lot of the paint is still sitting in the middle here. So what will happen as it dries is it will slowly even its way out and it will flatten itself out. So this is interesting. We've now got all these white spots coming up. So I'm just going to leave it for a few minutes while we go on to the fourth pour. And then we'll see what happens at the end. Alright, time for the next one. So this time we're going to be back with the Floetrol, and this time what I've done is, in my white I've added 2 drops of silicone oil. So I'm going to start with our base again. So if you're new to paint pouring, you may have seen that there are a lot of videos talking about silicone. So I've just got mine in a little bottle here, which is easier to use. So silicone basically helps bring out the cells. If you're a paint veteran, you may or may not have used silicone before. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes you've got to be careful because it can be a bit too much. So I've only put 2 small drops in my white. And we're going to go turquoise or teal. Now we're going to put the white. Like I said, I've just put the 2 drops of silicone in here. Now all the other colours have Floetrol in them. The white has just been mixed with a little bit of water to help it get a little bit more liquid. And the 2 drops of silicone. Let's give it a go. So when I'm blowing on this, I'm kind of pushing the paint across, but I'm also blowing down a little bit. Because if you blow down, you're going to get those extra layers of colour through. If you're just blowing across, you're just going to push that top layer across. Try and stretch out some of these gorgeous cells. Like the other ones, we'll just stretch this out a bit. Now I'm not going to blow this with a blowtorch, just because I want to see what happens with the silicone on its own. But if you have a blowtorch available, you can use the blowtorch to get all these extra cells. I'm just going to leave that today. So again, the silicone's giving it a really different effect, and I don't know if you can see. It's a bit closer. So there's little air bubbles that are going to start to pop in the white section because of that silicone oil. And we'll just touch up the corners a little bit. So I might leave this one. And again, we'll see what happens here and see if we get some more colours pop out. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, so for our 5th experiment, we're going to be using boom gel stain. So if you're not from Australia, you may not have heard of this before. Basically, it's already a pre-mixed acrylic paint, so you can just pour it straight on here out of the bottle. Some people choose to mix Floetrol or water with it. I'm going to do the experiment just using this straight out of the bottle. And as with the other ones, I'm going to be using the same mix of acrylic, the Liquitex titanium white, but with this, I've put in 2 drops of the Boom Booster, which is the Cell Enhancer. So let's give this a go. So with this one, my colours may look a bit different, but I am still using purple, teal and pink. So put my colours down, and let's get this titanium white with the Boom Booster in it, and let's give it a go. Already this is so different to the other ones we've done. Look at all these cells. Now, because the Boom Gel stain is quite thick compared to the other paints I've used, because I've thinned them, you can see that it's not moving as freely. But it's really interesting to have this huge like white snowflake effect. So let's try and stretch this out a bit. So this is a really different effect to the other ones. So I did put about the same amount of white as I have with the others. But this one, there's a lot of white in there, so we kind of want to really stretch this out. I'm just going to keep blowing this one out from the edges and make sure that the whole thing is covered, and we'll be back with the last experiment of today. So we're back with pour number 6. So this is a bloom recipe that we've done. So basically I've mixed my paint here with a specific recipe of pouring medium, which is 50% pouring medium, 50% water-based varnish. So I've mixed these up. Then in my white, I've got just the titanium white with some of the Liquitex Flow Aid. So as usual, I've got my house paints down there. Let's give this a go. So this paint is quite thick, so it may take a little bit of movement to try and get this all to spread out. I've got a really thick layer of the house paint down here just to give it a really nice base. And then we'll get our white. Again, the white is just mixed with the Liquitex Flow Aid that I used before. Let's give it a go. It's not actually as big of a lacing as I thought it would be. So again, with all these different techniques, you just have to play around to find out what works best for you and what you like. So we'll stretch this out a bit. So normally when I'm doing these sort of things, I will only use Floetrol. But I've recently started experimenting with all different mediums, different techniques, and different things to put in my white. Whatever colour I put on top. So this one I really want to stretch it out. I really want to get all this nice lacing through here. And actually, again, very different effect to all the other ones that we've done. So I'm going to stretch this one out and then we'll go have a look at all of the results. So here we have it, the 6 different mediums that we added in to do our basic Dutch pour. So you can see they've all ended up really different. I'm really impressed at how they've all turned out though. I really like the fact that they are all really different, even though we've used the same technique and same colours. I would encourage you to give it a go, have a go playing around at what works for you, what doesn't work for you. You know, you can get some really simple and amazing effects just with something that's really cheap. So you don't have to go out and spend $100 on random things, you just have to experiment. I hope you've enjoyed watching this and can't wait to see what these look like when they dry. I'll see you next time. So there we go, they're the 6 dried blooms. Let me know in the comments as to which one's your favourite, and if you'd like to see any more of the technique or you'd like to see any more attempts with any of these different experiments, then just leave me a comment and I'll happily do some more experimenting. Until next time, have a good one.